What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the Neighborhood Podcast. One of the hosts of the podcast. My name is Kyle Dabro. So in this video, we're going to talk about the excellent Game 5 that took place last night between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns in the NBA Finals. Milwaukee won Game 5 by the score of 123 to 119, and Milwaukee is only one win away from winning the NBA Finals this year after a great Game 5 performance. I'm only going to describe last night's game in one term. This was a classic, pure and simple. Both teams were on fire as far as their shooting goes last night. It didn't really seem like defense was that big of a deal. Let's start it off like this. Phoenix won the first quarter, 37-21. They were lights out, whether it was hitting mid-range shots or behind the three-point line. They could not miss, and Milwaukee's heads were just spinning after the first quarter. And I thought Phoenix would have continued their shooting dominance going into the second quarter. That didn't turn out to be the case. Milwaukee goes on a 43-24 run in the second quarter. They come back from a 16-point deficit, and they end up going into halftime up against the Phoenix Suns. Nobody would have expected that after the hot start that Phoenix got. But Milwaukee hung in there. They showed some resiliency, and they took the lead at halftime. And then for essentially the rest of the game, Milwaukee held a comfortable lead. I think at a certain point, they were up about 15 points at the largest point of the game for their lead. And going into the fourth quarter, Milwaukee was still able to hold a comfortable lead, but Phoenix kind of made a roaring comeback in the last 2 minutes of the game. They went on a 12-3 run. They got the deficit to only 1 point. About 30 seconds left. I believe Jrue Holiday misses a mid-range shot. Devin Booker gets the rebound. Devin Booker is trying to get past Devin Booker on one of the last offensive possessions that Phoenix had. Devin Booker gets stripped. Jrue Holiday picks it up, and he just throws an amazing alley-oop to Giannis. Giannis gets fouled by Chris Paul. It's an and one, and it essentially ices the game. And Milwaukee wins a thrilling Game 5. Let's just pull up the stats for you guys just to show you how dominant these teams were last night from shooting. Had you told me that Phoenix was going to shoot 55% from the field, shoot over 65% behind the three-point line, I would have thought, oh yeah, Phoenix is going to win Game 5 by a mile. No other way about it. But you look at Milwaukee. Milwaukee shoots 57% from the field, and they shoot 50% behind the three-point line. It's absolutely nuts. And this is despite the fact that Milwaukee had 12 turnovers compared to Phoenix's 9. This was a game that I thought Phoenix had to show some bounce back after losing the last two games in Milwaukee. But you got to give Milwaukee credit here. Going down 16 points on the road in the first quarter and being able to bounce back in the way that they did, there's no other way I could say it. This team will never give up. And these players, specifically for Milwaukee, man, they played phenomenal last night. We have Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jrue Holiday. These guys were on fire the entire night. Look at the box score here. Giannis 14 of 23 from the field. Chris Middleton 12 of 23 from the field. Jrue Holiday 12 of 20 from the field. All of these players combined scored, if I could count right, 88 points. I mean, that's outstanding from this three-headed trio in Milwaukee. And not only that, when you look at the team, everybody except for Jeff Teague shot either 50% or higher. In a Game 5, that's outstanding. And that's really the type of production that you need to be a very good Phoenix team in their home in a pivotal Game 5. So this was the game that Milwaukee needed. I picked the Suns to win this game simply because they had lost the last two games in Milwaukee. They're back on their home court. And the way that it started, I thought that would have been the case. The way that they just blew the doors off in the first quarter. But Milwaukee hung around, and they were just outstanding, especially from the mid-range last night. And just to kind of dive into this a little bit deeper, I know Chris Middleton didn't lead the team in scoring. Giannis did with 32. But Chris Middleton, once again, showed up huge in the fourth quarter. Especially with about 3 to 4 minutes left, he knocked down some three-point shots with excellent defense against him. His mid-range shots are just money. And once again, he steps up big. You also had Giannis. He essentially got the game-winning bucket off of an alley-oop pass from Jrue Holiday. And I got to talk about Jrue Holiday here. Jrue Holiday has had some up and down performances throughout this entire NBA Finals series. And in Game 4 in particular, he shot 4 of 20 from the field, even despite the fact that I thought he played some solid defense against Phoenix. This was by far his best game of the series. And to be quite honest with you, this is one of the best games that he's ever played. Not only was he good offensively, he gets the game-winning steal off of Devin Booker, with Devin Booker looking to score and take the lead for Phoenix at the end of the game, and throws a perfect pass to Giannis where he just yams it home, and Milwaukee wins Game 5. Jrue was outstanding last night, and he rose to the occasion. And as far as Milwaukee goes, that's what they needed him to do, and he came through with flying colors. And to talk about Phoenix here, man, I hate to say this, despite the fact that Devin Booker dropped 40 points once again, he had the turnover that ended the game for Phoenix. He got a good drive against Jrue Holiday, and he just got into a point where he got trapped, didn't have anybody to kick it out to. Jrue had his hands on the ball and just ripped it out. And I hate to say that Devin Booker's responsible for it. I'm not going to go that far with it, but it's just unfortunate for him that he had the turnover that ended the game for Phoenix, despite the fact that he was outstanding this entire game. 17 of 33, 40 points, 40-point performances in back-to-back games, and in both games, they lose them. It's just absolutely gut-wrenching to see a loss like that. And looking at the rest of the team, I thought the rest of the team played pretty well. Jay Crowder had 10 points. Mikal Bridges had 13 points. DeAndre Ayton, he had 20 points and 10 rebounds. Chris Paul had a bounce-back game from his horrific Game 4. He was 9 of 15 and only had 1 turnover throughout the entire game. So this was a game that I thought Phoenix had a very good chance to win, despite the fact that Milwaukee shot so well from the field from. It's just in the biggest moment of the game and in the series up to this point, turnovers once again haunt Phoenix in the worst way possible. Milwaukee takes advantage of it, and they executed. That's the thing. And in the biggest moments of the game, you have to be able to execute. And Phoenix just came up a little bit short. This was a fantastic game from beginning to end. It's an NBA classic as far as I'm concerned. And now that the series is transitioning back to Milwaukee for Game 6, I'm going to be honest with you. Milwaukee's on a roll right now, and all I know is Milwaukee is going to be bouncing for Game 6 at the possibility of wrapping the series up in 6. It should be fun. I believe the game takes place on Tuesday, and I will be glued to my television watching that game because this series has lived up to expectations and probably gone beyond expectations just because these teams are competing at such a high level. The superstars for both teams are playing up to snuff, and I expect nothing different going into Game 6 on Tuesday. But with that said, you guys, that'll wrap it up for me. If you guys like the video below, please like the video. If you guys want to support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, hit that subscribe button below. Any sort of support that we can give for the channel, Kevin and I definitely appreciate it. Thanks just for watching the video again, and we will see you guys later.